If I'm reading a chord progression like this one, and I need to pause for even a moment to apply a formula to find a chord, all the musical momentum is gone. I don't need a formula, I need a shape. And when you've played piano for a long time, that's how it feels. These chords just live as shapes in your head. And I want to get you to that place more quickly by helping you with some pattern recognition for our most common chords, major and minor chords. Instead of 24 chords to learn, 12 for major, 12 for minor, we're just going to look at 3 shapes that are shared by almost all of these chords. Let's start with the chords that only use white keys. We have 3 major chords, C major, G major, and F major. And then 3 minor chords, A minor, E minor, and D minor. And there goes our first category. So we've got 6 of our 24 chords done. All of those white key chords can be flipped from major to minor or vice versa, and they become mountain chords. So let's look at how that works with C. If we turn it into a C minor chord, now we have 2 white keys on the outside with a black key in the middle. And that's a mountain shape. So that also happens with G minor and F minor. For the white key minor chords, we can turn them into major chords. And now they're mountain shapes. So we have A major, E major, and D major. And with that, you're halfway done with your chords. Now we're going to take mountain shapes and turn them into Oreos. So check this out. Here's our C minor mountain shape. If we bring it up a half step, it becomes C sharp minor, and that's an Oreo because it has 2 black keys on the outside and the white filling in the middle. So that happens with all of the minor chords in mountain shapes. C sharp minor, G sharp minor, and F sharp minor. They're all 1 half step above the mountain shapes. Now they're Oreos. And because of the keys where we typically use these particular minor chords, we'll usually name them with sharps. Occasionally they'll be named with flats instead. So that would be D flat minor, A flat minor, and G flat minor. Just a different name for the same 3 chords. We can also turn our major chords in mountain shapes into Oreos, but we'll be moving them down a half step. So A major moves down a half step and becomes this Oreo shape for A flat major. And we can also get E flat major and D flat major. And in this case, these major chords are typically named with flats, but again, sometimes they'll be named with sharps instead. And at this point, you've made it through 75% of your major and minor chords with just those 3 shapes: white keys, mountains, and Oreos. For the sake of completeness, let's look at the remaining chords. There are 2 that are all black keys. That's G flat and E flat minor. And then all of our Bs, B flat minor, B major, and B minor. And you can find patterns amongst the different B chord shapes as well, but because there's only 4 of them, I think it's actually a waste of time. You're just going to want to practice those shapes by playing songs that use those chords. And that's true across the board. There's no substitute for playing pieces of music that use these chord symbols, so you practice translating from a chord symbol to a shape on the piano. But it can be helpful to recognize patterns like this. It can save you some time. And sometimes students ask me, is it a problem to be relying on some sort of visual pattern to find chords when that doesn't really have anything to do with music theory? And my answer is, it's not a problem at all. It's a great idea. Especially when you're starting at the instrument, these kind of patterns can act as a scaffolding for you to learn to find chords more quickly. And then the more that you practice just making music using the shapes, you won't have to rely on these sort of mnemonic tricks. Our ultimate goal is to get to where you don't have to consciously think to play chord shapes like this any more than you have to think about the mechanics of tying a knot to tie your shoes. I made a visual guide for these major and minor chords grouped by shape. You're welcome to download that for free. And if you'd like drills and ideas for songs that use these chords, I teach piano courses as well, and you can go to my website, pianofluency.com, to check that out. My name is Ted. Happy practicing.